are one what's coming to me, or what's coming to the world.
I told everybody, you fucking scumbag. He's a fucking bum. He's a fucking bum. My son could beat anybody when he boxes, bro. Ain't nobody could beat him when he boxes, cause that's what we do, we box. We don't need no fucking tune-up, bro. This motherfucker fucked up Ugas and Short Porter in sparring at 17. He's a master at boxing. When this motherfucker boxes, nobody could beat him. We fight Josh Taylor, we outbox the shit out of him, we win. And what the people gonna do? They gonna shut the fuck up, I'll be trainer of the year again. Fuck, get the fuck out of here, Eddie Reynoso, bro. A fucking banger, bro. Eddie Reynoso's a banger fucking trainer, bro. All that nigga knows is just throw left hooks and upper right hands. I'm trainer of the year, motherfucker. I don't give a fuck, cause we here to take care of anybody that's around, bro. You think, bro, my son was undisputed world champion of the world. You think we're gonna choose and pick who the fuck we fighting next? Are you crazy? Bro, in the history of boxing, he's the only boxer in the world to become undisputed in 60 fights. They could get away with it, bro. There's no way that dude won, bro. No fucking way! All y'all motherfuckers sound like fucking bitches, bro. All y'all motherfuckers sound like fucking bitches, bro. Ryan Garcia, Devin Haney. Oh, this fucking, get the fuck out of here with those fucking pussies, bro. Fight our leftovers, bro. Fight Nakatani. Fight Lomachenko, bro. Come on. Show us something, bro. That's how it was back in the days with Sugar Ray Leonard, Mike Tyson, and everybody, man. Why are you trying to over here and try to bullshit that shit? You a social media dude, bro. I told everybody, you fucking scumbag. Scumbag, 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 scumbag.
I want to say thank you to my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. If it wasn't for him, this wouldn't be possible. So you already know what time it is. Hit the like button, share this video, and subscribe. Low Nose Boxing. What we're going to talk about right now are certain accomplishments, major accomplishments in boxing. We're going to talk about the greatest weight jumping attempts in the history of boxing. That's when a fighter jumps up multiple weight classes to become champions in a higher division. There's been so many fights in boxing, so many great champions in boxing that have moved up and won titles in multiple weight classes. We got Manny Pacquiao, 8th division world champion. Oscar De La Hoya, 6th division world champion. Floyd Mayweather, 5th division world champion, if I'm not correct. Floyd Mayweather won titles at 130 pounds, 135 pounds, 140, 147, and 154. Sugar Ray Leonard, I believe, is a 5th division champion, 147, 154, 160, 168, 175. Miguel Cotto, the first Puerto Rican fighter ever to win a world title in 4 different weight classes. So many boxers have accomplished this feat. However, this is not a feat that's easy to accomplish. Only the great ones accomplish these type of accomplishments. They defy the odds. There's different levels of a fighter winning titles in different weight classes. There have been plenty of times where the smaller fighter was actually more decorated than the bigger guy. So he moved up to fight a world champion in a higher weight class, but yet and still the smaller fighter went into that fight as the favorite, right? We got 2 big fights coming up that involve champions moving up in weight to become champions. We got Inoue coming up against Stephen Fulton. Inoue's already a 3 division world champion. He's attempting his 4th world title in his 4th weight class. And then we got Jermell Charlo in September against Canelo Alvarez. Jermell Charlo's situation is a little bit more risky. with more reward, because he's jumping up from 154 pounds, where he is the current undisputed junior middleweight champion of the world, to attempt to take the undisputed super middleweight titles from Canelo Alvarez. That's 2 weight classes. That's a big jump. If Jermell Charlo wins that fight against Canelo Alvarez, his win, in my opinion, will have to go down probably in the top 5 biggest wins any fighter has ever achieved jumping up in weight. There have been fighters that have attempted that feat and failed. Mikey Garcia tried to win a title at 147 after he was the champ at 135, and he failed against Errol Spence. Alexis Arguello, 3-division world champion at 126, 130, and 135, attempted his 4th world title division against Aaron Pryor and failed. Amir Khan against Canelo Alvarez, he failed. Kell Brook against Triple G, he failed. Tremendous fighters, but once again, that's not an easy feat, especially when you're jumping up 2 weight classes. So with that being said, what I'm gonna do right now is give you a list of my personal top 5 biggest wins any fighter has ever accomplished moving up in weight. At number 5, I'm gonna go with Floyd Mayweather Jr. versus Saul Canelo Alvarez. Now, Floyd Mayweather Jr., prior to facing Canelo Alvarez, had already won a title before at 154 when he had that mega showdown against Oscar De La Hoya. But Floyd Mayweather went back down in weight, and then he jumped back up in weight at a one-off against Canelo Alvarez. Now, even though Floyd Mayweather was the favorite going into this fight with Canelo Alvarez, and there are a lot of skeptics that feel Canelo Alvarez was too young and inexperienced, but for me, that win has aged very well due to the fact that Canelo Alvarez went on to become an incredible fighter himself, who has also won titles in multiple weight classes. Canelo Alvarez, to me, is the greatest Mexican fighter of all time. So that win, I have a high regard for that win. So that win definitely cracks my top 5. Coming in at number 6, Roy Jones Jr., light heavyweight champion of the world, who at one point was the middleweight champion of the world, and then became super middleweight champion of the world, and then light heavyweight champion of the world. He jumped up 2 weight classes to beat the heavyweight champion John Ruiz, who had upset Evander Holyfield prior to that fight. At number 3, Roberto Duran, Manos de Piedra. Roberto Duran was a champion at 135 pounds, 147 pounds, 154 pounds, and later on in his career at the age of 37 years old, he jumped up to 160 pounds to defeat Iran Barkley. That's an incredible win. Roberto Duran was like today's version of Gervonta Davis, but much better, with much more accolades, with a much better resume. Roberto Duran's power carried to 160 pounds, and he dropped Iran Barkley, and that win aged very, very nicely for Roberto Duran, because Iran Barkley to this day is considered one of James Toney's best wins. And mind you, Barkley was in his prime at the time, and James Toney hit him with everything but the kitchen sink, but couldn't put him down. But yet Roberto Duran, past his prime at 37 years old, fighting way beyond his weight class, was able to drop Iran Barkley and pull off the upset victory, right? At number 2, Sugar Ray Leonard versus Marvelous Marvin Hagler. Sugar Ray Leonard was a champion at 147, 154, 160, 168, and even 175. But his win over Marvelous Marvin Hagler might be hands down the greatest win of his career. The fight was a very close fight, but what Sugar Ray Leonard did was incredible. Sugar Ray Leonard, prior to that, had retired with a severe eye injury. He went through surgery for that injury, and he was retired for 3 years. And he came back 3 years later after retiring without a tune-up fight at a weight class in which he never fought before, to take on Marvelous Marvin Hagler. Marvelous Marvin Hagler wasn't just any world champion. Marvelous Marvin Hagler is considered probably top 3 greatest middleweight champions of all time. And Sugar Ray Leonard had people fearing for his life going into that fight, but he pulled the victory off. Coming in at number 1, for the second time on this list, Roberto Duran's victory over Sugar Ray Leonard in the first fight. Roberto Duran, prior to this fight, was already considered as the greatest lightweight of all time. He jumps up 2 weight classes to 147 to face off against Sugar Ray Leonard, who was coming off of winning his title over another great fighter, Wilfredo Benitez. Sugar Ray Leonard was an undefeated Olympic gold medalist at the time, the golden boy of boxing at the time, the face of boxing at the time. So even Roberto Duran, with all of his accolades, and even though going into that fight, Roberto Duran was considered pound for pound the number 1 fighter in the world, he was the underdog going into that fight because everybody was so high on Sugar Ray Leonard, right? Now, this is why I consider that fight as the greatest win any fighter has ever had moving up in weight. Roberto Duran moved up 2 weight classes to fight a guy that was bigger than him naturally, stronger than him, faster than him, more skilled than him, more athletic than him, a slick black fighter. Usually when a smaller guy moves up in weight to beat a bigger fighter, he's usually the more skilled or faster guy, and the bigger guy is usually just a guy that just got more power. Sugar Ray Leonard was the cream of the crop. Sugar Ray Leonard to this day is probably top 3 greatest fighters of all time. And Roberto Duran moved up from 135 to beat him, right? Take Canelo Alvarez and Floyd Mayweather, for instance. Floyd was the smaller guy, the older guy, but he was faster, more athletic, more skilled than Canelo Alvarez, right? So imagine Canelo Alvarez being the smaller guy, the older guy, moving up to fight a fighter with all of the attributes that Floyd Mayweather has. That's what Roberto Duran did. He moved up 2 weight classes to beat Sugar Ray Leonard. That's the most impressive victory any fighter has ever had, jumping up in weight to become a world champion. You already know my gimmick, man. I like to bring forward the past, the present, and the future to bring you all up to speed with the history of boxing. With that being said, it was a pleasure sharing my knowledge with you. So hit the like button, share this video, subscribe to my channel, Low Nose Boxing, because Low Nose Boxing. I'm out.